What's up, Taiwan? I'm Tiffany Wong with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Thousands of soldiers are gathering across Taiwan for the country's biggest military exercise, Kuang. The drills start on Wednesday and are set to last for 10 days. Defense reporter Jaime Okan was in Taoyuan to see things get underway.
It's a big day for Taiwan as it begins what is the country's largest annual military drills known as the Hangguang exercises, which simulates how Taiwan would defend against an all-out invasion from China, and that begins with mobilization. The Hangguang drills have taken place annually for decades, but this time they're larger than ever and extended from 5 days to 10 days. Here in northern Taiwan, soldiers from the 206th Infantry Brigade gathered to receive instructions. Every one of them is a reservist, having already completed military service but called back to serve. Some are learning how to handle weapons like machine guns and artillery, while others are learning tactics and setting the location of their deployment. It's all part of a push by the MND to make training as realistic as possible.
那今年的特色当然就是我们常讲的有想定没有剧本，你有 scenario， 但是没有一个固定的剧本，这样可以让部队有更多的这种就是应变能力的培养。
But this is only one group of soldiers, and for the next few days, a record 22,000 reservists will be called up for Hangguang. The vast majority won't be on the front lines, but will serve as support for the main army. That way, Taiwan can be more flexible in handling the variety of threats posed by China.
主要是应对这个所谓的 gray zone， 就是灰色地带的它象征着就是从 peace time 到 war time 一个转换那这是培养台湾的武装部队。
After these exercises are completed, many will move on and join other units in the larger drill, which will happen across the entire country. Although it's only the first day of Hangguang, military officers tell me that it's one of the most important. They say that mobilization efforts like this one here is part of an effort to quickly turn ordinary citizens into soldiers. Andy Xue and Jaime Okan in Taoyuan for TaiwanPlus.
For more on this year's Hangguang, TaiwanPlus reporter Isabel Wong spoke to Alexander Huang, chair at the Council of Strategic and Wargaming Studies.
So my first question is that this year's Hangguang exercise, there are a lot of differences, right? And also there are several new weapons coming out in the exercise as well. So what's your take on the differences of this year's exercise?
In the military modernization, we have always said, the state of the military exercises has always been a high-low mix or a combination of existing system and newly incoming systems. This year, we will witness a extended Hangguang joint military exercise, extended from 5 days, 4 nights to 10 days, 9 nights. I believe that this is encouraged by our allies and also is based on our self-awareness about the potential military conflict across the Taiwan Strait. I have been a long advocate for a real-time, more realistic military drills to familiarize our population, that to get used to a possible future difficulties, because Taiwan has been away from a real war for 67 years. So we need to do our own preparation to get people used to a possible future military conflict.
So with the urban resilience training this time, it's more like a bottom-up strategies, right? Do you think the Taiwanese people are, how has it been like? Are they used to this already? Or like if the possible invasion happened?
My major takeaway is that our military commanders and decision makers probably needs more practice and education because they are still more or less stay with a scenario that was 10, 15 years ago and has not learned too much from the war in Ukraine or Gaza. And so that's why we hosted this tabletop exercise and inviting renowned generals and admirals. And especially, we open to the press. So this is the first time that the Taiwan population can watch a highly sensitive military operational war games, from their own eyes. This is purely a public education exercise, and I think we have achieved that goal.
That was security analyst Alexander Wong. Tune in tomorrow for our conversation with Tony Hu, a former Pentagon official, and more coverage on this year's Hanguang exercise. Chinese military activity around Taiwan continues as Taiwan's annual Hanguang defense exercise begins. The Defense Ministry says it spotted 31 Chinese military aircraft and 8 naval vessels operating near the country in the 24 hours up to Wednesday morning. 24 of those aircraft entered Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. This area is not Taiwan's airspace, but acts as a buffer zone for defensive purposes. U.S. President Donald Trump says there will be no extensions past August 1st for countries targeted by his so-called reciprocal tariffs. It comes after Trump announced new tariffs on 14 countries on Monday. Issy Wells has more.
It's been a busy few days at the White House. U.S. President Donald Trump has doubled down on an August 1st deadline for new tariffs announced on Monday. 14 countries, including South Korea and Japan, will be slapped with new levies if they don't reach a deal with the U.S. before then.
The big money will start coming in on August 1st. I think it was made clear today by the letters that were sent out yesterday and today.
Trump also announced his next target for imported metals, copper, a key component in electric vehicles and military equipment, which he says will be hit with a 50% tariff.
We did steel, as you know, they're 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out.
Why don't you announce copper?
And we did cars. And now today we're doing copper.
But it's not just the copper industry that will be bracing itself. Trump hinted a tariff as high as 200% on imported pharmaceuticals could be coming soon, as well as semiconductors, a big concern for Taiwan. It's still unclear when exact details will come, but Trump says he'll be making several trade-related announcements throughout Wednesday, affecting at least 7 countries. And with world leaders bracing for a hit, the Trump administration has high hopes for how much it'll be raking in.
We will have taken in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariffs, the major tariffs not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year.
But there are fears these new announcements could reignite trade tensions between the US and China. Beijing has warned countries about striking deals with the US that cut out China, warning the Trump administration about restoring tariffs on its goods next month. Trump has given them until August 12th to reach a deal and remains positive.
I do want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade deal.
With high-stakes tariffs looming and global markets on edge, the Trump administration is doubling down on its America First trade policy. But as deadlines loom, US-China tensions look set to reignite. Kama Xu and Issy Wells for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's exports hit a monthly record of $17 billion in June. That was mainly due to growing global demand for AI and supply chain restructuring. June marks the 20th consecutive month of growth, with exports up 33% year-on-year. The surge has caused Taiwan's trade surplus with the U.S. to hit $55 billion in the first half of 2025, surpassing the $36 billion trade surplus with China and Hong Kong for the first time. But experts say huge export figures and the stronger Taiwanese dollar may put pressure on the country as it negotiates tariffs with the U.S. The U.S. is looking to ban Chinese nationals and other foreign adversaries from owning U.S. farmland. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is working with state lawmakers on the National Farm Security Action Plan. The plan would prohibit nationals and entities from China and certain other nations from holding or using U.S. farmland. Chinese owners account for less than 1% of foreigner-held U.S. farmland, but that includes land near U.S. military bases and government installations. Lawmakers say the move is needed to maintain U.S. food and national security. Young Taiwanese Hakka farmers and culinary talent from northern Taiwan are teaming up to promote sorghum and other local produce. By getting creative, they're hoping to boost the industry as climate change worsens. Irene Lin has the story.
These tiny brown seeds mixed with white rice are sorghum, a grain that's become popular in rice farms in northern Taiwan. Growing sorghum requires a quarter to a third of the amount of water as rice. With climate change depleting water reservoirs and Taiwan's population and tech industry increasing demand, there's been a public push to grow more sorghum in recent years. But farmers like Liu Zhenyu in Hsinchu County say it hasn't been an easy shift.
北部的田区都是黏土，但是我们翻好土，只要一场大雨来了，完蛋了，就是黏土吸了水，在10天又不干了，就变烂泥巴，又没办法种。
The challenge doesn't end at planting. Sorghum has a tough husk and takes a long time to cook. That's why it's most commonly distilled into gaoliang liquor. But not everyone can produce or sell alcohol, as Liu's wife Xu Yishan explains.
因为我们不能在网络上 po， 也不能去行销，然后也不能去做任何的宣传，连 FB、IG 什么都不行，因为它有一个那个酒的规范在这样子，对，然后就看，原来它还是个五谷杂粮类，所以就因为这样子就继续往它是五谷杂粮类这个部分去做研发。
Looking to explore other ways of incorporating sorghum into people's daily lives, Xu Yishan used her baking talent, mixing sorghum and regular wheat flour to make delicious bread. She has also partnered with a Hakka chef to add it to traditional dishes.
当初的开发的想法就比较简单，就是我们在小时候在家里的时候吃那个猪油拌饭，就是想念阿嬷的一种味道。里面就是加了一些我们在地的小农的杏鲍菇，到玉米笋、蒜啊，还有油葱。油葱是客家地方的当重要的东西啊。
Xu has also helped promote other produce grown by Hakka farmers. These mandarin oranges are used to make the jam spread on the sorghum bread.
它味道很像柳丁。
对，它盖人家一打开也是像柳丁一样，而且非常多汁。
Farmer Yang Zongfan has been working on improving the soil for mandarin trees since he took over his family's orchard. But typhoons and unpredictable weather often affect harvests. By working with Xu, he says their jam has created new markets for the less popular fruit.
就发现加工品是无限的想象，还有无限的创造，这样觉得很开心。就刚回来就觉得很像单打独斗，然后后来认识玉山，还有几个青农，大家一起合作，我觉得大家一起走下去可以走得更远。对，这样合作模式我觉得很棒。
It's unclear what the future holds for sorghum and these local farmers, but Xu says she hopes her produce can teach more people about this crop.
至少我往前走，看让大家认识高粱，其实它是一个五谷杂粮，然后让大家可以愿意吃它。其实它是我们一个政策之下的一个节水作物，也让大家知道说气候变迁其实当我们没有水的时候，我们当粮食自给自足缺少的时候，其实我们还是必须要供应我们自己基本的，对，所以这件事情会一直往前走。其实有一部分的理念是在这里。
In the face of climatic and economic changes, these Hakka farmers are steering through the challenges, lifting each other up along the way and staying true to the image as a hardy and resourceful people. Wong and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we take you to Germany to witness a performance by the world's largest orchestra. I'm Tiffany Wong. Take care and see you next time.